Now, if you're going to invest in the airline industry, JetBlue is one of the companies that you're probably going to take a look at. So, before you do any investing, you should always do your homework. So, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to walk through JetBlue as a business and the finances, and then I'll give you my opinion on what I think about this stock. So, the first thing we're going to start with is the product, because we want to know what products do they offer and what problems are they solving. Now, like most airlines, the main product that they are going to offer is going to be air transportation for passengers. Now, JetBlue is probably the smaller one of the publicly traded airlines because JetBlue's total revenue in 2019 was about $8 billion. And part of that is because their strategy is to focus on, I guess you'd say, a little bit more regional. They're more transatlantic, or I guess you would say kind of the Caribbeans, Latin America, kind of Florida. That region of the world is where you'll probably find more of the JetBlue flights. Now, because they're such a smaller regional, then I guess you'd say the growth potential in that area is something that I would definitely think about. Now, the other aspect of their business, it comes down to the other category where that involves things like their loyalty program. And, when it comes down to airline loyalty programs, the way that they work is they have a partnership with a bank or credit card company, and they agree to say, hey, you can put our name on your credit card, and we'll give every customer that spends money with this credit card, we'll give them like one frequent flyer mile or something. And in exchange, they can trade that for flights or for perks or benefits once they get on the plane. And then the credit card company agrees to share some of the revenue with them. So that is a segment of their business. Now, that's not a very big segment of their business, but it is a decent amount. I mean, it's about $300 million. So, it's nothing to just bypass. But the major part of their business is the passenger travel. Now, when you think about some of the other airlines in the industry, they have cargo, they have the passenger travel, they also have loyalty programs as well. But the magnitude of them, because they have partnerships or they have direct links to more locations, I would say that it makes them a little bit more attractive than JetBlue. JetBlue as a business may have great service, but because they have a limited coverage of where their flights go, I would say they're on the product side, I would probably give them a C+. Now, the other area we need to look at is the financial side. Is what does it look like for how they are actually managing the financial side of running a business? So let's take a look at it. When we look at the finances of JetBlue, a couple of the things that I like to focus on. First is looking at the revenue. And because of COVID-19, one of the things that you can definitely see is that revenue has dropped off as a result of COVID-19. Now, where you saw many companies where their revenue started dropping in Q1, whereas JetBlue, somehow they were able to manage still maintaining flights, or I guess you say still manage maintaining revenue in Q1. But in Q2, their revenue did take a significant hit. But I also look at what are their profit margins. Before the pandemic hit, they were about 28%, which is a pretty good range for a airline. And then when I roll down to their operating profit is how well were they managing the back end cost of the business? They were about 11%. So when I look at their finances, the other piece that I want to look at is can they generate cash from their business? Because one of the big struggling points for a lot of airlines is, do they have enough cash to actually fund their business? Because if they run out of cash, then they have to file for bankruptcy or they have to be bought by another airline, because bankruptcy is pretty common in the airline industry. But when we look at their cash flow, we can see that they are doing a decent job of generating cash. So I would probably grade them on a financial side. I would grade them a B plus because although they are generating positive cash, I would say we don't know how long the COVID-19 pandemic will affect the airline industry. So you're going to need pretty deep pockets to make it through that. And because they're a smaller airline, it leaves some concern there. But when what they do have, they manage it well and they execute well with managing their costs, delivering profit, and generating cash to fund their operations. And when we look at the other important area of a business is how are you going to make money? Because it's great if they can manage their money well. It's great if they have products, but you really want to know when you're investing is how are you going to make money? And the biggest area that you make money when you're buying a stock is I guess you would say increase or the appreciation of the stock price. So at the time that we're recording this interview, or I guess this video, if we look at the stock price, it is about $10.53 a share. Now, just like most airlines, when you think about their industry, it took a big hit as a result of COVID-19. And when you look at where they were, I guess you'd say within their 52-week high, it's been $21 is where they were in their 52-week high, which probably means that when things go back to whatever the new normal will be and the airline industry starts to have more passengers flying, that there's probably some room for this stock to grow. And because the stock has room to grow and because they've done a decent job of managing their finances, and JetBlue has some attraction to a lot of people, I would say that this stock has some room to grow, and I would give them a grade of a B when it comes down to their growth, or a B plus when it comes down to their growth potential. So as we talked about, the products I gave in the C range. The finances, because they've managed them well, have given them a B plus, and the growth potential, I've given them a B plus in that area, which gives them an overall score of a B. And that is because when it comes down to the product, they are a little bit more, I guess you'd say, regional focus, which the region that they're focused on is impacted by a lot of things, whereas there are a lot of hurricanes that happen kind of in the Caribbean or the Atlantic Caribbean region, which could have an impact on their business. And right now, they haven't announced, or I don't really see a lot of room where they've expanded into other areas. So I would say they have a great product, but because of the regional focus and the other factors that can impact their business, I would give them a overall score of a B.